Okay. Just trying to figure out, they just moved everything around. So it's like, I'm going to figure out where everything is. Thank you very much, Zoom. Anyway, let's see. What did we paint last week? Oh, yes. Let me grab that. Yeah, we painted sheep. You guys did really well. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
This is it.
Oops. Yeah, mine are back there a little bit far. Won't get to them right now, so okay. Yeah, like last week painted the shapes. You guys did really, really well. It was, it's always nice to see when you guys put out winners like that. Let me pull this in just a little closer. So it's good. It's good to see. Good to see you guys growing and things. That was a nice one because it had a lot of backlighting to it, and I always enjoy doing that little rim lighting around the dark objects and stuff, telling the form, just because of the way the light hits it and stuff. Sometimes can be have such a great effect, and it worked really well with the sheep. And Cindy, you nailed one. You knocked it out of the park. There's a few other ones that were really good there. I think Teresa had a really nice one. So yeah, so it's always fun to paint. Yeah, no worries. This week though, we're moving on from land to sea. Moving on to some fish. We painted some fish on Monday night, and I got a few calls for it. People wanted to see paint fish this week. I said, oh, well, okay, we'll get our fish on, and we'll try this one. These are some salmon here we got going. I thought that would be appropriate, and I found these. This is again off of one of those a photo site. This one is. I cropped into it, did a few things, so. But we get to use it for free, so it's okay. Reference wise, so we'll be working on this and seeing how we change it. It has some really nice. Sorry, should have it up. It has some really interesting effects in it, and I want to go over that with you, and we'll talk about how in oils and stuff, how we can kind of recreate that same effect. There's always a few different ways to paint everything, and so we'll try to figure it out and see what is the best solution for some of these painting effects we need to do. So let me pull it up. There we go. Yeah, these guys are really nice. Look at that. The background looks crazy, doesn't it? I mean, it's a busy, crazy looking background. It has a lot of, almost that water almost looks like it's on fire because of we can see the top of the water reflecting down onto these fish. And then we get the lower area here where we get some light coming down on some underwater land ground, the bottom. Interesting. And then way at how it silhouettes the fish out of there. Yeah, this stuff looks up here. You look up here. It looks crazy, doesn't it? It does look crazy. But most of that stuff, is really all on a certain arc. Everything's on a certain arc and just kind of petals out and straightens out as it goes. So you're going to see these arcs at the top here, just a little more archy, and then they just start to loosen up as they go. So that's one of the things to look for. God. I'm sorry, guys. Um, of Zoom has changed its everything again without telling anybody. So I'm looking at how to get rid of my drawing, and it's not here anymore. There's no. Oh, these guys are just so full of shit. Sorry. Okay, let's get. Geez, you got to find a whole new way to do everything. Okay, sorry, quit complaining. Uh, Here we go about the fish. Yeah, that. Sorry, that just kind of threw me off. Thinking about the way that water is arcing like that, and looking at these marks here, and these ones here. Looking at how those are put together, and how they just connect. So if you worked on 3 marks, this one, and this one, and then connected them with slight little in between marks, that's all you have to do to get that top. So at least that's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm going to approach it. And it could be really cool because this is one of those ones where I think we could. Yeah, oils has so many different properties to it. That's the cool thing about it. We never have to be satisfied. We can always just keep painting and keep going. What I'm looking at here is how can I get these areas to work? How can I simplify this the easiest way to do it? And one of the ways is removing the paint. I mean, if we painted the background and then came back in, and you could just see these marks. You see how these marks are? Those are definitely could be eraser marks. I definitely could get almost all that effect with one of our spatulas. That's really an idea. It also could be you could use a palette knife and do all this stuff. You could also, you could always paint them in too. This could be just a thick over thin paint. I don't really like that idea. I mean, that's like would be my last resort. I don't mind painting some of this stuff, but I do think it could be better removed than added. I think that's the way I'm going to approach it. I'm going to try that first because I think that's probably the right way to go.
So then would you put the background that bright yellow then, Jim, and then paint over it? Is that what we're doing?
I'm gonna it's gonna you're right. We have to get that yellow stain in there. So that is a good thing. I mean, yellow and green and things. So yeah, when we tone, I think toning the canvas, when we tone the canvas, we tone it with a warm color, like yellows or warm and something like that. We'll be fine. Because of the one thing. Boy, sorry, these. I'm sorry. Zoom just moved everything around, and it's like, what the hell did you do that for? It just throws me off because I can't even concentrate on what I'm trying to talk about. Yeah, I think toning it with yellows and stuff might be white. Burnt siennas probably would work really well. I was going to talk about the value of the background here and how that hits. You can see that that's probably right. The lighter area is around 7s, medium sizes, colors like right in here, around 7s. It gets pretty dark. It stays pretty 9s, but most of it are 8s. Back up here, even up up top. Sorry, I'm just trying not to use their stuff here, but God dang it. This area up here, going down here, it's probably about 8. Most of the stuff are 8s to 7s. This area down here, dark, pretty dark. It's going to be in the 9s. But everything, and then you got these really lighter areas that I'm thinking about scraping back, and then you got this area here. God, that could go a couple different ways. I try to keep it this area and this area, these areas tied together. That's so if I'm going to replace the paint, take the paint out, I'll try to do it the same way on both areas. But those areas are pretty high key. These are like number 2s, really pretty bright. These areas here coming all over, are number 2s. And then you have this area here definitely could go up here to 3s. So you do need these lights going in behind these guys because these guys are pretty dark. They are really down here again, number 8s, 9s values. So that's what we're going to be looking at doing. We got warm light because you got this yellow back here. So that tells you a few things about the fish. You got warm light, got to be cool fish in the shadows. So that's what's happening here on this big fish here. Definitely he's cooler. He has a cooler purples in him. Still not like, so that means you will be using a cooler red in most of this guy. We will be using some warm red because you got to have to get certain areas going in here and on the gills and on the fins. This guy back here is a little bit warmer, but not, that's the thing is we're talking shadows, but we're not really talking color of the fish because the color for the fish is still always going to come through. We're just going to have some values that are going to reflect coolness. And that's where you see a lot of coolness on the top of that fish, which makes him stand out from a very warm green background. Even this fish back here has some coolness to his top reflective areas. And this guy too, just a little bit of light. So we got these 3 big guys, and then you got some silhouettes of some other fish back here, and then one coming in from the side there. I think there's one at the bottom here too. By the way, at the bottom, if you want to do, those guys are, little things you do at the end. We're going to concentrate on the background, getting these 3 fish in, maybe 4, maybe 5. Maybe we'll get them all in. Who knows? Let's see how this background works. We're going to try and I'm going to try and do the removal and stuff. And it's pretty easy to do this but what you want to do is look at these shapes and really break them down when you start to remove paint. This one over here is really interesting because it looks like you're going to lay the blade down and just pull it this way. And I'm looking at it this way. I'm going, okay, if I can pull it that way and I keep scraping, I'm going to get this too. I probably can get this whole section in one thing and then come back with a different part of the scraper and be able to pull it off this thing. So this is talking about that rubber spatula area thing I'm thinking about. Here, same thing. That's just if you see how much we can get that, pull that one out, and then we'll put the fish in it afterwards. Oh, that changed. Okay. Let's see. What else we got up here? So that's fit, and then we'll just draw in the fish. Usually that's the way I can do it. But if you guys need to draw on the fish before you put in the background, that's okay too. I'm just going to show you the way I can do it. I like to do it. I try to make, one of the things I just want is when I paint these guys, I see this all the time. It's a little like halo around fish or things because people paint their background into things. Like this is a fish, paint them in there, but they don't get really close. They don't touch the fish. They leave a little like line going around the fish because they only bring the brush in so close instead of getting it right on the fish. So that's why I like to just remove the paint. Makes that job a lot simpler because I always have the paint removed, and then when I do put the fish in, it's going to blend with that paint, just that little residue of background. It's going to mix with that, and it's going to help me do all my softer edges, keep those guys really clean. Soft edges are a big factor on this one. Yeah, I mean, you can blow it up and keep these guys pretty sharpen them up, but really we want to give these guys space. So it's really important to, if you have movement, to think about a softer edge and paint, blending it in just a little bit, and that would be back in here. Shoot, what do they do? Back in here, on the fins, keeping those guys just on the back edge, a little softer even than the front edge. This edge here, if anything, that's going to be your hardest edge, but I also keep it soft because otherwise it will jump out at you a little bit. Edges can be done at the end too. They don't have to be done right now. I like to have them done before the paint dries and not have to come back and glaze soft edges or repaint soft edges. That's always a pain in the butt. So I try to get them soft before that happens. Okay. So yeah, a lot of warmth there. I'm glad Cindy pointed out the yellows in back there, that if we do remove the paint, that you're gonna have to have that yellow stain in there first. So she got us. We'll have to do that. All right, any questions? All right, let's head over to our palette and we will get going. Gonna mute you guys for a second here. Okay. No, looks like my camera flipped on me. Sorry about that. All right. Are we in there? Okay. Colors for this one, definitely gonna just need some white. I would say cad yellow light. These cads will probably become really important today. Some of these cad oranges, cad red light, cad orange. I do have some ochre out. This is oxide. No, this is Terra Rosa again. Oxide red light could be. It could be Venetian too. Alizarin crimson or rose madder deep if you have Rembrandt. This is cobalt blue hue by Utrecht. It's one of the colors I like. It's a hue, which is a scientific made paint. It's not a student grade. It's just a knockoff of cobalt without using cobalt. And it works really good. It's one of the darker blues out there. phthalo green on the blue shade. And then I do have some transparent oxide out. Transparent oxide. I used to have that out all the time, and then I kind of went away with it from it. We can do burnt sienna. I think this is burnt sienna right next to it. I'll show you what the two different looks like. Here's my brushes. Big brush, big soft one. Gonna be using this one. This one's gonna pretty much do the background, do most of the background and get everything in. This big brush. So I'll be able to move really pretty quickly. And then I'll go have some other synthetics here, which will come in and do some other, the softening and putting on paint. But then you're gonna need some bristle brushes too, that basically they kind of scrape paint away and put new paint down. That's basically what these guys do. These guys kind of just remove paint, kind of like a snow shovel, and put new paint down. This is what I was talking about, my paint remover, and I'll be using this for a lot of things. Basically, it's a rubber spatula. Got a real flexible top tip. And, I just trimmed them with some scissors and get these sections, and I'll be able to use these two sections to be able to do this area here, be able to use this one hopefully to do the bigger areas. Might take a couple swatches, pulls of it, but I think I can get some neat effects. They don't have to look exactly like that. That's just the idea. But this, I'm counting on this to be handy. And if it doesn't, I got my palette knife. Put it in with real paint, or I can put it in with brushes. Different ways of putting it in with brushes. There's always a couple of different versions. And what I was talking about is also just a little second ago was about removing the paint here and here and here, trying to be consistent. We'll see if that works. The other option is putting in real paint. So anyway, so let's get going on mixing our paints. Looking at that background. Get it back up. Okay. Yeah, this is just a little darker than what it should be, but it'll be good to go with. Definitely these areas down in here tell you where we're going to go with this colors. You can see there are some purples up here. Definitely a lot of green down in here. And then it gets a little warmer over in here, but not by a whole lot. So we got green, purples to greens, darker greens to some warmer ones. And then you got these midtones here. So let's see what we can mix those guys up. I think we can mix them up pretty quickly. So I'm going to start off with phthalo green. Definitely a lot of phthalo green in this one. I probably should have more phthalo green out, but it's going to be a few different things. Definitely I want to start off with alizarin and phthalo green. Definitely want one on the alizarin side, heavily on the alizarin side. 2 spots. So this might be a little bit too much on the alizarin side. Then one on the phthalo green side. So I'm not going to put any. I have so much alizarin in that one. I'm not going to put it in this one. So, and I'm going to go back here and just take out a little bit of alizarin in that one. Okay. This is, I'm thinking about this background. So this one, tone pulling down, gets that purple just a little too red. So I'm going to put more green in it. This one's just a little. Okay. We're going to leave those 2 there. So we have first 2 are just phthalo green and alizarins. The next one's gonna have to go a little bit on the warmer side. I'm gonna go with Terra Rosa and Phthalo Green. Probably not that much Terra Rosa. This one just kind of went a little Terra Rosa right off the bat, and then come back with this one. Phthalo Green.
What Jim, if you don't have Terra
or
Rosa, is it oxide
red,
transparent oxide?
oxide red light, or burnt sienna, or Venetian.
Transparent oxide work, or no? Or you'd rather do
I
burnt
was just
sienna?
gonna I was just gonna go to that color now. So I would say a red. So if you have burnt sienna and just
Okay.
a little alizarin together, that might do it. So we're looking at this kind of color. But yeah, you said it. Well, the next color I'm going to try is again Phthalo Green and transparent oxide red. And it's not a really great strong color, but it's going to give you these really warmer, greens that could come in effect here. But the problem is, it's just trying to get a transparent oxide red to get on the red side at all against the phthalo green. You really got to push it. See? Okay, this one on the phthalo green side, which won't be hard at all. These guys, I'm hoping to do this kind of stuff here, get this richness underneath the color. I'm going to try a few other ones too now, see how they work too. Definitely, I'm going to go with some one more I'm going to do here. Phthalo green. And let's go cat orange. This might end up being cat red, but right now it's just going to be cat orange. Heavily cat orange. So just a little bit of phthalo green. So I was kind of going for this little area here, for this area here, and doing a little staining. So that green might be too even. Any green at all too much might be too much in this one. So I'm gonna just use the green, and I had it in color, my phthalo green color. So I got a really kind of almost just an off orange here color. So pull everybody up here. Okay. I might do one, since I have a little bit of green out here. Let's do one more. Let's go cad yellow. I've not done this color in a long, long time. You can see why. It just kind of goes to this day glow green color that you can't really use. But we're trying something different. So I'm gonna keep adding a little more phthalo green into this one. Okay. Now needs just a little red to it. So I'm going to add just a little alizarin to it. Each one of these guys. There we go. Yes, that red will just knock out this day glow color here. You know, we'll see about using it. We'll see. All right. Now the fish. The fish are in the cooler sections. See, as you can tell, we keep these guys that way. These two might work out in the fish. Will work out in the fish. Everything else is going to be a little bit warmer. They might want to end up being in tails and things like that. These warmer colors, but let's do a few cool colors here. More cool colors for the fish. So I'll start those guys down here, and I'm going to go with blue. Start off with blue oxide, or sorry, not blue and alizarin together. One on the alizarin side, definitely got a lot of red in it. And one on the blue side. So it's just going to have a little bit of alizarin in it. Mostly blue. That's the start of it. But there is some other purples in here I want to get to. And so I'm going to do some more blues and oxide red for Terra Rosa. If you have Terra Rosa, or oxide red light, or Venetian, or you have to go burnt sienna and just a little bit of alizarin together. I think that will work. Definitely want one on each side. So that's pretty much the red side I need exactly. This one I need to be on the blue side. When I take and add just a little bit of white to these guys, they should end up being a lot of the fish. Basically, the blue one here is going to, and red one is going to be right in here. This guy's going to get a little more red into him. This guy's going to be a little more blue, and with a little white in it, and should fall back in space. These colors too, we might find in this lower section of the painting, or even up the top. We're just going to be playing that by ear a little bit. Basically, it's going to be a little psychedelic, I think, painting wise. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. We need to make a few reds, some pop-up reds in here. But they are not like red. They have a little bit of blue in them yet. So I'm just put a little bit of blue out. Oh, I got a couple colors I want to try here. Yeah. This first one to do is cad red and blue. Just a little bit of blue to knock the cad red off. A little bit more than that. All right. Just to knock the red off, to brown it up a little bit. It'll be one of the last kind of colors I put in these tail fins that I think will work. Over here, I'm just going to put on a little bit more on the blue side. This would be a nice purple too. This is going to be a really nice purple. That might end up being in these fish. Definitely. So I want to have one on the blue side, definitely. I'm pushing in more blue. You can see how rich that color is compared to oxide red here. This one, or or Terra Rosa here. You can see how rich that is. That'll come in handy in some of these little areas here. They're just a pop. They'll stand out nicer when it mixes with colors. You just still have some strength to it. Let's see other things. Oh, one last color. I just want to see what happens here. Blue, a little bit of blue out, and a little bit of if you have transparent oxide, let's try that. If not, you can do burnt sienna. This is transparent oxide. It makes this really rich brown. And I would say try to remember this color, because this color is really great. You can see it up there, what it does. It has a really good richness. Transparent colors just have so much vibrancy, more vibrancy than regular everything else. More opaque colors like these guys, they just have this glow to them that you can get thicks and thins, and I think that's which comes with the naturalness of the paint. That one on the blue side, that one's on the green. Okay, let's knock all these guys down with just a little bit of white. I mean, let's split the piles in half. We're just going to add just a little bit of white. We're going to try and keep these guys value-wise right at 8 at the most. So we're talking a little bit of white. And some of these guys, even these reds and stuff like this, they're already pretty much there. Didn't really go that dark. Just the really darker ones on this side. These guys pretty much are there. You don't have to do much with those guys. But we might hedge our bet and say, well, if that scraping effect doesn't work out, definitely these guys with just a little bit of white will do pretty much everything up there. A lot of white. Let's split these guys up nicely. That's just green. These guys, let's see what happens. Okay, white. I'm going for pretty much a dull color, so I'm not adding much white at all. So just the tip of my knife might be enough. 2 tips of my knife might be the right value. You just barely can start to see the gray show up. Okay, this is down in here. That works great there. Might have to lighten this up one more step. I should get all the colors out of these guys right here. You can start to see this green in here. Definitely works down in here. I might even be able to take that lighter too. So I'm thinking about I'm going to put these darks in first, so I might need to lighten these up one more step just to be able to get these effects. I'm trying not to, but I think I'm going to have to do that. I think I probably have to go this light. Yeah. Well, that hits it too, though. Oh, that will do it. That was oxide. No, this is oxide red. This is transparent. So this is a little bit more white in each one of these guys. Thinking about, getting that purple out of there. Might be at just a touch more white. Okay, instead of taking them to not 8s and stuff, I'll probably take them to 7s. because I'm going to use these really darks in here underneath everything, and then I'll have to use something just a little bit lighter to make it work. This one I might have just added too much white. No, that's good. Get it there. So I'm going to add just that much white to everything here. Now you get some really richer. These are the transparent oxide red. And you see this color here. Really starts to play down in this area. Okay. And again, if you didn't have this transparent oxide red, burnt sienna will be a good replacement for it. I'll show you that in a second too. That these colors could definitely be that. That's just a little brown. Not by much. So that definitely. Okay, we're gonna see if we can get this to work. I'm gonna add just a little bit of white to these guys too. As I'm doing it, I'll just keep going. Did not even move that color. Adding white to it. So that tells you got a really good cad orange and phthalo green when you don't put them together like this and you add white to it and it doesn't move it. There you go. Had to add a lot of white to make it move, and it didn't move a whole lot, maybe one step. That's a lot of white I just added to this one, just trying to make up for the other one. Maybe. Might be too rich, I mean too light. Green goes a little funky, but you never know. You might get a nice couple nice spots you might need in here. This is the yellow version, where I expected the yellow to like this to really start to show up. Didn't really get this color down here. So let's see. Keep going on these guys now. The blue, same thing. Blues with a little bit of reds. Trying not to get them too rich. I mean, they start to show up here, but there's a few spots I can use that in. Hopefully, I'm hoping these colors are going to do a lot of the damage right here. These little grayed out blue purples. You know, that could fit in there really nice with any of those greens. I was thinking about this fish, these two colors here. That's on the blue side. This is on the red side. Just a little bit of paint, keeping these guys really quite dark. Making sure you can see the red in that, and that help out that guy. And these things, this is the cad red and blue. See, that's what I was thinking about on fins. Also makes a really kind of cool purple when you add enough blue into it. You start getting that in here, and that might help this guy back in here, this fish back in here, really. Just a little, keep that richness in there. And oxide, transparent oxide with just a little bit of blue. See when you add. That's very rich. Not sure that might help. That might get down here and do these things. One little thing I want to show you guys too. Okay, this is burnt sienna. This is transparent oxide. Just put a little bit of white into each one. Let's see what happens. This is burnt sienna. It's very orange. Oops. Transparent oxide. Pretty much a weaker color. So I'm going to try and get it to the same value. That. Not much difference. That's why I was saying you could use this, either one. I think looks like burnt sienna might have just a little more red into it than that. That might be on the more yellow side. Not sure I'll use those colors, but I'm not going to throw them away. Okay, I'm going to go through the colors again. We don't have to mix up too many more. We might have to mix up some really high key white ones at the end for this thing, but we might not. I'm going to try and keep it in middle tones and see if we can erase out the colors. Use the canvas for white. First two colors we made up were phthalo green and alizarans. Then we took them down here, and I took them to, these need to be at like 7, value 7. These ones are phthalo green and oxide red, or terra rosa, or oxide red light, or Venetian. So just this middle red, kind of a warmer red, and with white. These are oxide red, transparent oxide red with phthalo green. This is on the green side. This is on the brown side, just of 7s. This is just phthalo green by itself. This is phthalo green and orange, cad orange. Lots of cad orange. And this has just a lot more cad orange in it yet. Bringing them down and adding white to them. Not exactly sure if they're going to have any presence in this painting. We will see. This is kind of a weird one. This is phthalo green and cad yellow. As you can see, it doesn't do much. I mean, it's very day glowy, a little too bright, you know, fluorescent-y. So I added a little bit of alizarin to each one of these to try and knock it down. And then when we add white to it, that could definitely start to get into some of my lighter yellow green areas. And you know, it's always, yeah, it might be a nice transition color. You might be able to transition from lights to some of these greens. Over here we have blues and alizarans right here. This is alizarin. This is blue on the blue side, coming down with white. Here we have blue and terra rosa or Venetian or oxide red light coming down with white. The white probably about 7. These might be at 8s. I think I kept these guys just a little bit darker because I'm thinking of these fish. So you can see how these guys kind of go together. This is cad red and blue. This is on the red side. This is on the blue side, coming down with just a little bit of white. This is transparent oxide red and transparent oxide red light. Red, no light. Transparent oxide red with blue. This blue side, this is the red side. Over here, these are just transparent oxide red and Venetian or burnt sienna. Seeing what the difference is. This is just a transparent oxide red. It's just a little bit warmer than that. That has just a touch more red. Burnt sienna has just a touch more red into it. We'll never know. We'll see how that goes. Any questions? All right. Let's get over to the board. I'm going to be painting. I got some safflower oil for my medium. A little bit in. You know, I'm looking at this background and going, I definitely, I don't want to go with any opaque colors. It has to be a transparent color for this to work right. So it has to be burnt sienna or transparent oxide. I need to kind of go more yellow, so I'm going to go with transparent oxide as my background color. It's the last of my transparent oxide anyway there. Let's see what happens. Again, big brush. So coming back, I'll come back and get things rolling. Trying to keep my feet in here. Okay. Okay, all my cameras rolling. Okay. Sorry. Big brush, big ideas. Basically, I'm gonna just let's see what this does. I'm thinking of this transparent oxide in here first. Doesn't have to be that strong, but I know I'm going to need it in this area here. Definitely a little stronger. Then up here, I'm just going to keep it pretty light. It should have good staining power. So the rest here is a little warmer on the sides and the bottom here. It's just on this bottom section here. You can start to see how warm it gets. This good tint to it. Okay. Okay, we'll rub that out. A little bit heavier there. Thinking about in here, keeping it a little lighter. Because it's so warm, I got kind of a blue gray that's going to go in here. Blue, green, gray, you know, and definitely just want to keep that area a little cleaner. Just a right. This is the reason I can do this, going to be able to do this really pretty well. Is because I'm working off a linen panel. These, so this is acrylic primed, so like gesso primed. Centurion ones. So I should be able to pull most of that paint off. there. But to get to that situation, I'll make sure I have coating in there because I want to get this stuff like underneath before I wipe it out. Well, I'm gonna also hedge my bed a few places and put some of that green in there too. Okay. I'd say draw it out if you want to, but basically I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna just match area shapes. Usually, you know, I know the fish is gonna go up in this area here. Definitely want him more off center. You know, he's up high, he's off center. You know, so he's closer to this side than that side. He's up high. So probably about there. Needs to end right about here. And you can go closer to this side. Most of this stuff I won't be I'm just going to paint over this, but just to show you guys how I want this guy put in here that way. And then the other fish here, this fish here definitely can go in there, that area there. This guy would go up there, and then you have this guy transitioning down in here a little bit. See, even that shape there even feels like it's gonna, the bulk of that fish might feel like he's too centered. So hopefully I can push that back a little bit even more. Okay. All right. I'm going to start off with my darkest colors. I'm going to be start off with blue and alizarin and phthalo green. This is on alizarin side. It's going to take up this whole side, basically this whole side of the painting. We're going to have some going to be transitioning the greens and stuff. Going to have a lot of purples up there, but these are transparent colors. So this is on the red side. So let's put it down in here, and you can see, work it in a little bit. As you can see, it doesn't go in quite as dark as we had it. It is because we're putting it in just a touch of oil, so we're not putting it in opaquely. We're putting it in transparency wise. And you got this little mound here. You got this fish here, going to be going in here. So this going to carry on, gets a little thicker. Going to build it up a little bit more dark wise in a few spots. Okay, still same color. And as I get up here, I'm just going to use whatever's in my brush to do the top part. Just run it out color wise. So it doesn't, as you can see, value wise, it's about the right value. When I will wipe it out, I'm gonna need to be a little bit more. And you can almost see some of these marks in here can almost start to be those marks. Yeah, you know, that's why you paint these things. We paint these things. It's more learning than you know, trying to see how we're using our memory skills on these things. You know, if we paint, what did I do last time? how's that going to work? Just rub this thing out. Just these dark areas. Okay. That's pretty good. That was just phthalo green and alizarin, mostly on the alizarin side. Now I'm going to go to the phthalo green side. This. I see definitely down in here, low area here. This one area here, there's at the bottom, comes up to this kind of a rock showing here, and just comes in on this side. If you pull it, I want to put that in pretty dark, so it's almost full strength coming up. It should start to blend. It will blend nicely with the alizarin version too. But I do want marks here. I don't want too clean of a area. I want brush strokes here. Keep it kind of clean. We'll get to the top. But a lot of that won't come till you add an opaque color to these guys. Okay, that's the alizarin, phthalo green, and alizarin on the alizarin side. We're bringing up top now. And work it into these purples here. Purple on that side, green on this side. So when I get over here to this side, my green starts to take over. And I'll push it back in, and in the middle somewhere here, these two will meet. Hardly any oil on my brush, just letting it, stain the canvas and do this stuff. This is also a way, at the end, if things don't turn out, that's the great thing about oils. I always got this to come back to. I can always come back and paint them in with these colors. Paint them in with the right colors. I don't have to think about what I'm going to try and do here. So I'm just looking a little phthalo green-ish. I'm going to put a little bit of that in this middle section here, right underneath here too. And put it in pretty light though. Put it in and just get it over, thinking about this land here, area here, this really bottom area. And getting that in. This is going to be really one of my smoothest areas, right in this painting, in the area. I just want to start to blend these areas out a little bit. This phthalo is probably not going to be cool. I just want to have this richness in this area to grab, because the only way this is going to be really smooth and cleaned out and stuff is if has some white in it, and that'd be the next color underneath it, right underneath it probably. That's values. That's the right value right there. But it's got to be have some white in it to make it work. Okay, that's basically two colors we used. I have the painting blocked it. No. Now we're going to go to a little bit warmer ones. This is the Venetian, or not, well, it could be Venetian, the Terra Rosa and phthalo green. Terra Rosa's on the opaque side. So it's going to act a little different than some of these, the alizarin and the phthalo green, but still has a lot of phthalo green in it. But not a whole lot. So the warmthness I see is coming right in this section. So that has some Terra Rosa phthalo green in it. And it's going to be subtle. I want it subtle. You can see this guy right here, this rock at the bottom right here. It's kind of a big rock there. Just a little bit warmer. Get a little bit of warmth coming into each other, coming into the coolness of those last two colors. We'll see. We're probably going to have to paint a few rocks in here and some things. That's where I was trying to see if I could, how much I could do and not do. I'm just going around and seeing a few areas here that can, this goes in too much. Okay. Definitely could darken in that area, down in here a little bit more. I'm trying to get that rock. There you go. Fish goes right in here. All right. Well, that's my worms. I have a couple really. Let me try this. I'm going to try this. This is phthalo green and transparent oxide red. The one I just used was phthalo green and could have been oxide red to light, which is an opaque color. But these two are two transparent colors. And here, I want to see if I can, what would happen when I put it in these warmer areas that I'm going to take off later. Get a little bit of warmth in there.
Is that with the blue? The transparent oxide blue?
No, this was phthalo green.
Yours is so brown compared to mine.
Yeah, it is very brown.
Mine browner.
So it has a lot of transparent oxide in it. And I'm just going to blend these guys a little bit so I don't see too many edges. Definitely I could bring some of that green back, I think, in here a little bit more now. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to start adding in I'm going to go back and now I'm pretty much used all my basically dark colors laying white on, except for my really bright ones, yellows and oranges and greens. I have not used those. For the water areas and stuff. Now I'm just going to go back into and grab the paint that is basically number 7s. We made number 7 values with just a little bit of white and get that in here. Definitely was looking at this color here. This is a phthalo green and oxide or Terra Rosa or oxide red. Getting that in this area here. I definitely want to get the paint really clean in the middle of that section. So what I mean by that is, really hardly any brush strokes at all showing, and then just, blending it out. So it's like hitting it from so many different angles so your brush strokes go away. and then really kind of long stretch ones, pull them all together. And I'm gonna use that up here. I saw it a whole lot over here too. Might switch to the bluer side. Let me see if that. Said bluer side, I meant cooler side, which would have been alizarin here. Yeah, well, that's beautiful. This is alizarin and phthalo green together. Putting that in this section here. Make sure I've got everything blocked off. So phthalo green, alizarin, just a little bit of white to about a number 7. I'm just going back and forth, kind of using the green versions where I see it and where a purple version is right now. Purple version's really like this. It's a kind of, I mean, with alizarin side, turns kind of like a really smoky gray. And I can see how that it's working in here. Trying to get that transition into this other greens and stuff here and there. So if I have everything really kind of nicely done, I think I can it'll work out pretty well. Okay. Getting those cooler areas in, back in, putting in more cools where I put in some warms, but now back and then put the warm sides. Always back and forth. You'll find a lot of, when you start to get in here, you start to see, this is Terra Rosa in phthalo green with white, but it's on the Terra Rosa side. It's kind of a warm gray. And it's going to be really nice for anything down in this area here that, you know, you see a rock or something. This value, it's in like a number 7. Basically is going to be the highlight for that rock. Just on the red side. So you see a couple little rocks. I'm not going to put in too many. This one up here is just probably this big one right here. He's going to get a little bit more life, you know, a little more light. But everything down in here, from this rock to anything, even this guy right here, to this guy, hardly anything. Put it in and blend it out real quick. Keep it a little darker on the corners of the painting. Let's see how else this goes in. That's about it. Sometimes just a different direction of the paint will make it lighter. Leave that here. I'm going to go back to the green side of that. And I'm going to try and warm up this section right in here to that cooler area. Working that in. So this is now I'm switching over to one next side down is this is a transparent oxide green, oxide red with phthalo green. This with white. I thought it was going to get this guy. I thought it was going to warm that guy up. It could be a little lighter. Have to go a little lighter. But it's going to be pretty subtle. Painting all these rocks in here a little bit. This is always the area, well, I would always say is less is more. Just hit the highlights. If you can, you can describe a rock with just by putting in the highlight color instead of putting in the darks, the midtones and stuff. We can just do enough to make it read, distracting. Okay, and all those strokes and stuff now when you put just a little clean mark in here, you can just see how it jumps out of that area. Might just have to push it back a couple times. Usually just touch it 2 or 3 times. You can push a color back when you put it in, goes in too strong. And these guys might have to go one more step lighter, but I'm trying not to. So down here, definitely going to have some nice paint. This is going to be a real painted area. And the rest is going to be paint removal. Let's see. The trick is to keep the 2 lights to meet. Okay. I'm gonna do something here. I didn't do that color. I left that little area there. I'm gonna put in, stain it with a little warmer yellow here. Let me see if that helps. That's almost perfect for what I need right down here too. Always says like that, always tells you I can always put this color in next time and put it back in. All right, let's go ahead. I'm just gonna draw in my fish real quick. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna worry about the fish. All right, what I'm gonna try and do is this section here. I just put that paint in there. Let's see if I remove it. This is just that rubber scraper. So I'm gonna try and do this section here. I'm just gonna lay it flat and just push it against this area here. Remove paint. Yeah. One of the things we can always do, if you can get the paint removed and kind of create these sections like this, you can always come back when it's dry and put a nice, since it's white, it's really nice for glazing. stuff. So you could definitely put a little glaze on this and tone that to a yellow. Let me see. I don't know. This is just one way to do it. Let me get this big one over here on this fish. And I'm gonna take it from this side and push hard. And then I'll let up. Yeah, didn't do what I wanted. I wanted a little bit of stain, a little bit of things, but I didn't want to have to do it in yellow. I got one more trick up my sleeve for that. I'm just going to take and remove a few things here first. Trying to get this thing without doing too much. Just by removing all right. Anyway, this is just removing some paint. Let's not get too carried to worry about it being too yellow. Not yellow enough. Always get that in. I just want to keep the paint smooth. All I'm doing is looking for the big stuff, looking for the areas where things connect. Usually you find wherever these ones that areas that poke out, they're going to connect over here. That same line will connect to another longer wave, basically ripples. And these guys. That's why I have a couple versions of these things. I could get these guys in. The value's right. Temperature's just a little off. Let's see here. That's what I want. We brought this where this fish is right here. That's where I put that worm back in there, but just did not get in there right. That's a great thing. The great thing about oils is we can always fix this. I'm going to go in here and see what happened here too. See if I can get it off big sections. Nice thing about this is it's so flexible. I can push it down and I can get that some of these things to be the same. Kind of a nice drawing material. Just kind of does that whole shape for me very quickly. Okay. Paint removed. Is it right? I don't know. I don't know yet. One thing is I know is though is you don't have to be perfect with this. It's almost the more abstract you have back in here, almost the better. All right. Well, I'm gonna paint drawing the fish now. Just saying I kind of know where he's gotta go. It's a little tough one because you do have to be able to lay this thing out quickly and not have too many aids. But I'm gonna just get it close. My other, I have one more drawing pencil here. All right. There we go. There we go. Basically, it's just another rubber tip thing, just a little pen, almost like a pen tool. Yeah, it's just that same rubber tip. So I can come back in here and go, okay, he needs to get into this area right here. His mouth open. So this is where I want that opened right there. Okay. It's kind of flat. I'm gonna run into a lot of this stuff here. Maybe I started way too high. Bring them down a little bit more in this section. Up in that area. Get that curve of the tail in here. Maybe he's really going to end up a little tighter on this side, which is okay. As long as I got him on this side tight. That's what I'd want. More than this other side. So, okay. So he's going to go in there. What I want to do also on this guy, just remove the paint from him. I think I'm going to just get right into that spot. Okay. So I get white out of anything with white in it right there off it. Other fish. I want him about right here. Tip wise, comes up, touches, kind of goes under. This guy, it's good right in there. Definitely want to, don't want these tails to line up, so definitely gotta move this picture's tails out of that area. Let's see what we got. Well, I'm going to go in with a bristle brush. I think I'm going to put, that needs to be yellower anyway. I was thinking that that was going to work really well, but I'm not. So this color I'm using here is cad yellow plus phthalo green. Has just a little bit of alizarin into it. I'm just working these guys together a little bit. All right, I know that worked better with a bristle brush sometimes. Yeah, maybe I'll have to do that up there. In this area here, I'm going to go with a little more of the cad orange and phthalo green. A little more warmth right here at the around this rock here. At the bottom edge. Okay. Let me do this. That's not working out. That's working out pretty good, in fact. Having it scraped off and then coming back just as a very light touch with bristle brush and not trying to get rid of that texture there I have in there. Just pushing it in and letting it grab the white areas full strength. That worked out pretty good. Sorry, pretty good. Sounds pretty stupid there. I'm going to run that up here, try that here too. Hey, it's always a learning experience. You got to be willing to fail to get better paintings. So, cad yellow, phthalo green, just a little more phthalo green in it. Almost let's see what happens. Don't usually like doing this, but let's see. I don't like failing in front of you guys, but I do fail. So if I use this in this remove paint area with a bristle brush and scratch it, let it scratch itself into the white, so you're going to get pure color like that. Maybe I can, and if it doesn't work out, I can always try removing it one more time. And now that I'll have this stained just a little bit better, maybe that'll work. I don't know. See, just a little uniqueness to it. Let's see how this goes. Soften these guys. This side's definitely, like I said, more yellow, orange. Just gonna put just a touch of orange into that yellow green I made up. A touch of warm orange. Like I said, you could definitely glaze this and probably do a different thing too. But I'm just looking to see if there's a bristle brush effect will work just as good. It's almost abstract. I can use it up here. Don't go too far. I don't want mixes. I just want it to pull right over it. So it's not like a back and forth too much. It's really just dragging it across the whole section here and not disturbing the paint. So it really is kind of a light touch. Do have a little bit of oil on my brush too. So let's leave like that. Say, don't want them all exactly the same either. So let's have some fun. Take chances. See where we go. Down in here, I might come back with that yellow white, just a little more white in that color. Okay, almost yellow. And this is just just like we were doing down there, where you're just giving it one medium tone on the top. This is almost the exact same thing. It's just got the medium tone, but now we're just going to hit the highlight area. So that's what gives it that. Looks like it was just drawn with one brush across here. And these highlights are very bright. Oh, I ended up going up in a different route here. Interesting. Okay, good enough. We're gonna have to catch a few things at the end here. Come back in and soften some areas, but just keep them big and bold right now. Good job. So that's the thing. It's just paying attention to what's happening while you're going, because you're gonna get some of these things happening. Find out that a bristle brush was scratching it just about right. Can save you a little bit of work. Definitely gonna go back to my big brush now again, big synthetic, and painting the bodies of these guys. You're gonna stay pretty dark here. Basically, it's gonna be in all blues and purples and stuff. I might be using a little phthalo greens and things, but most of them I'm gonna try and stay with the blue purples and stuff. And really the dark ones again. Now these are the very dark ones. So this start to set it off. So this is alizarin in blue. Let's see it going in here and then coming back down. Right around the girth of it, right in here. Tail goes to a blue. So I'm just going to go to the blue version of it. You can see the red in here showing through. I'm keep it pretty simple too. So far, this painting has been very simple-ish. A little more blue on top. In the front here. In the front here, I'm going a little more phthalo green. I'm bringing back in for his face. A little phthalo green and work with the lizards. Phthalo greens in the front edge here. It's just slightly warmer than the blues. So it's going to come forward a little bit, and I want to kind of use it to gray out some of these reds I got to put in here later for these gills and things. I want to be able to like have something that's going to.
Which color are you using now, Jim?
I've gone back to phthalo green and alizarin, no white. Very first colors we made up. And there's just going into the very front of his face here.
Okay.
On this guy. But the rest was alizarin and blue. Alizarin and blue, mostly alizarin in the middle. And then when you get back to your right past the girth of the fish, the back tail turns to a lot of blue. But then there's this reflection of this stuff done down here, and that's going to be a little green. That's why I was bringing in the green in the face here, and down in here though, the bottom of his belly, I would say definitely it's just a little bit warmer because of the reflection of the yellow. So it's going to be in that oxide red or Venetian Terra Rosa coming back in here and being in here. Again, right now I'm not using any white. Trying to stay away from white. It will come in real soon. I just don't want to do it right there on this guy. I want to keep this guy really pretty dark. Yeah, I think that's about it. You know, if I can get this section right here, just this middle section of them really kind of dark, because then the top area just a little bluer right in here. There's going to be some secondary, there's a lot of secondary colors that are going to go into this guy. As you can see, I'm trying not to touch yellow in my paint, because that's just gonna make a mess for sure. And you know, might cut out these sections here. You know, anything I'm going to have good clean colors without too much yellow, too much, you know, yellow green coming in here. You know, most of everything else is pretty good. That's going to be kind of a bluish purple area here. And I would like to have it go in here pretty clean. I don't want to have too much green yellows going in here. Okay, next colors to use. These are blues and the warmer reds. Oxide or Terra Rosa. Like I said, I'm trying to use color instead of white. Get these guys in. Mouth, his back mouth, bottom mouth, it comes out farther than his top lip. So I gotta keep remembering doing that. Okay. So this is just this is on the red side. This is a Terra Rosa and blue on the Terra Rosa side. There's a lot of red in it, and I could see that right back in here. You're going to find this guy gets a little bit of that in here, and right in the middle, because that red's going to come forward against the blue. The blue is going to recede a little bit in space, so this red's going to give. That's what's going to make this the fish have weight, have volume. That red is because it's going to come forward and blow that fish up. So I'll put it on these areas in the middle. Barely tell. That's the thing. I'll bring you in a second. You can barely be able to tell I have any real strong reds in that area. Put it in I'm going to put it in like this, right in the gills too. I'm going to paint those gills in. Now that the paint is dissipated, it's not as strong. I can use it in this back fin here a little better. This fin here. Okay. This guy underneath here, I did not do too much with. He just needs to go darker. And he can use a lot of the colors that are already been in around here. I might have to lighten up areas around his head. Make sure his head pops out. So this is the red version of Terra Rosa and blue mixes. Definitely in the front edge, red. Back edge, a little bit more blue, back edge area. And you can just see that's doing a lot of. I'm going to go with just a touch of white into the color too now. So it will, I can get them to keep that one in the front, that big one, the big one in front. So just a fish shape. Just a little more belly, This guy doesn't get much more here. This is going to get his highlight. And he should just come around really quickly after that. Get that guy right. Okay. This guy down here, he's basically blue. I'm going to go back with the alizarin blue. And on the blue side, you know, he has there's a lot of residue of paint here on this guy too. So definitely want to get his back end here as dark as I can get it. Sorry, that's the way I go. These colors are gonna start to come through. I'm not gonna paint the bottom fish until the end if I have to, because no need to. But this guy's pretty close to ready. He just needs a highlight. He doesn't get a whole lot more than that. So let me see what happens here. That's not bad. All right. And then this guy, we're going to be working on the big fish from now on pretty much throughout the rest. Just want to finish this guy off. Just get a little bit of alizarin and blue into him. Just a little bit of white. But that's about it for this guy. He doesn't get that much more. Definitely have a few drawing problems. And this is a great way to do it. Just clean your finger and just push it in there. Clean them up. All right. I'm going to go with a synthetic on the rest of this guy. Nice size synthetic. And start putting in the highlights on this guy. See if I can start doing it. I'm going to start up here on his front and in his lips. Clean up this couple areas here that get in here. Eyes are really close to the head and stuff. Basically, I'm going to be using all my secondary colors where I just added just a little bit of white to it. Let me see what this is. Oxide red, transparent oxide red, phthalo green with white. I was thinking I might be able to get that right in here into his, right underneath his part of his mouth here and nose. Nice synthetic like this. What that does just helps me really put a good clean mark in. And I figured probably right into here, back into his. That's not bad. It should be on the red side. Some of the rest of this stuff. So this is oxide red, phthalo green, with just a touch of white. Going around his mouth, just a little bit of warmth. Start off the green on the outsides, and then just this little part of his mouth that comes down through here. It feels like it has a little bit more warmth. And so I'm just going to put it on the red side. Probably gonna same here, just a little bit more, maybe just a touch more white too. Just got a little bit of a touch more white to it. Just a touch too much. So, if you touch too much, you can touch it a couple times. It'll start to dissipate a little bit. Okay. Okay, the bigger stuff though, I'm using, this is phthalo green and alizarin and white. It's whenever you do, you know, these guys, fish people, not fish people, but fish people, dogs. Whenever you're doing a portrait like this, there's a little bit of jumping around to do. So, just want to let you know, do a little jumping around here. So what I'm doing now, I'm going back to my alizarin and phthalo green mix for this front edge of this thing. And it is in the alizarin side. And I should be able to take that and do this highlight here on top. Just a little bit more. Maybe I have to go, let me try this. I think that's almost too, I'm gonna go alizarin and blue. And the alizarin and blue, it's really, you can see the purple. But I just need to get this a little bit lighter. Let me see. Yeah, because I was looking at it right here on his back, right there. And this edge here. You could see that, really see that purple showing up right on this edge. And I thought I could get it with phthalo green and alizarin. So it would be a nice grayed out purple. But it's just a little more rich than that. So it's on the blue side. So I had to go to the blue. But I do like most of it here. But I might come back and just get a few more spots just to be consistent. And then on when I get back in here, since I have that blue in here, this color should mix with the blue a little bit more and then let the blue take over. That's better. That's feeling better. Like I said, at the end, I'll come back and touch that line a little bit more. Catching the edge of here, just pulling some light through this back fin here. And that's that purple. I'm going to try kind of a, let's see what this does. This is more red. This is a, this is cad red with blue. And that's why I was thinking right back in here. More. Some of these reds coming into this salmon. Just a little bit more red right in here. And then into this area, into his underneath fins here. And this is a fin from the other side coming in. This one's on this side. Okay, this big fin up by his face, right here. What I'm going to try and do is lay my brush flat or flat here and just twist it, trying to arc it. Hold this, make that a triangle. Basically, that's nothing more than a triangle. So if I can figure out the right spot, I can just hold that point in. I can get it to do that. Just a little lighter, but that's a good start. You've had just a touch of oil on your brush when you grab your paint and do it. Should be able to just a little wide. Boy, that is a lot bigger. So it's starting to come now. It's just starting to get there. The other fish are pretty easy. I just need to get around his eye a little bit. Basically, all I'm gonna do is everything around his eye, but not do his eye too much. This color I'm going to be using here now is Cad Red and Blue. And it's just got a little bit of white in it. It's on the blue side. But it's going to come in here and do pretty much everything around his eye. And not his eye, though. I'm going to get up here back into these gills a little bit. And this is where I put that alizarin in when I was mixing it. Coloring this area, saying I want this alizarin in here because there's a lot of red here. And I knew this was gonna, pop this thing out. Okay. Now if I go to the red side, I can start getting the edges of the gills. Some good paint. Just a little bit of white added to this Cad red and blue mix. And I can only go so far with this because I'm really going to want to blow this up and, take too much time that way to see it and stuff. I don't need to see it too much. Just get it in. You can find that guy back there, that fin back in the back there. It's going to have a lot of warm red into it, a lot of white, maybe just a touch of orange added to it. A lot of little things like that we'll end up having to do at the end. Get these basics in and then start to come back and put in just a little bit more, where it needs to be a little bit lighter to change the color. the other fin on this other side over here, coming through here, right in there. Okay. So we got about 15 minutes left to go. And it's still going to be some work to do on this one. But now I'll be getting down to my last few colors though. This guy gets a little bit more red. This gets cad red coming into this blue purples and stuff. I figured it's going to work in a little bit. I have to work it in a little bit. But I want to keep that color strong, red showing through here, giving a good separation of this guy. And just back in, when it gets right about here, it tapers off. So just a soft brush there. Give it, let the red in the front come through, and then the ear, back tail. Just a little more red at the tip. Gonna find probably a lot of places you can get just a little more warmth with that cad red in there. You're probably gonna help your fish a little bit. Yeah, might have to go up a little bit more brightness to a little more white my colors here there, but don't. What I tried to do did not work. So this is a good one for, things not going to plan, but yeah, being able to shift gears and just keep going. Like I said, oils just has so many different nice properties to make everything work. These last kind of highlights on this guy definitely needs just nice, a little bit more white added to my. This is phthalo green and alizarin. It's on the alizarin side. I'm gonna use that. There. I do have to add some warmth to this belly. And all that is phthalo green, oxide red, or terra rosa, and white coming into this bottom section very lightly. I don't want to displace all the darks that are in there because we need and just soften this line here back up. care of that guy. As you go, you can just start to see it, the warmth start to settle in on where you need to put it. This guy back in here, like I said, I haven't done hardly anything to. These are just going to be more warm reds. Coming back in here, maybe some browns. Just little triangles for fins. We should be pretty good. Yes, a touch of oil. Grab my paint. Jesus, gets the back edge of this thing. I'm using here, in fact, I'm using burnt umber white here as my, that little color I just showing at the end. That's what I'm using. This. Add the red to that guy. Just gotta break, get a little tangent right here. Close that down. It goes above that line a little bit. Yeah, this guy's just a silhouette. I can use the blues and purples on him there. Okay. Just a slight highlight on him. I'm gonna have to dig into some of these other areas here. So these other fish, I'm not gonna put them in that much. One of the little things I want to do is look at right before I could bring in, seeing if I could. Maybe it's this side. Pull up again. That's working a little bit better. Yeah, that's working much better. And this is just gives me those little dots. You know, if you have this thing in here, just those little dots. We're going to use those guys. You draw the eye around. So might end up doing a little bit more of this, taking out that. See how much more I can use. Get back to the white now a little bit. That's working a lot better. And it gets everything I need there. That's pretty good. Then when I put just a couple more of those in, I'm pretty good. But, there's one little mark. I'm done. Not done. Done for now. There's a little bit of, so a lot of really trying to get my colors subtle here. Changes things, trying to keep those guys from jumping out here too much. A lot of fun though. I mean, a lot of craziness in there. Definitely got to work a little bit more in here, but not by much. I think it's really pulling out a couple stones, lightening up a few, make sure I get the highlights right. That's about it. Let me bring you in, and you can start to see some of these details a little bit better. So you can start to see up there in the water, so how kind of exciting it is up there. So we got a little bit of mixed pullings and pushings. The bristle brush was really the key to getting that some of that color back in there. And then down in here, keeping it pretty simple, subtle, working on that fish. Still got to work on his face. I don't have that perfectly, very well. And his other fish. I'm missing a fish up top and fish on the bottom. But it's also, I just want to, how much I can leave. I'm not going to be touching too much more. All right. That was mine. All right. Who we got here? We got Cindy showed up. And we got Sarah's still here. Anne Marie jumped in here. Hi, Anne Marie.
Hi. Hi.
Did you paint or did you watch?
I watched. I came in late, but I came in when you were outlining the fish, but I watched.
Okay. It was fun. It's a little different. It still has a little ways to go. But it's a fun little goofy one. Kind of like, an experiment gone crazy and trying to see if you can pull it back and make sense out of things. So let's see what Cindy did. Come on, Cindy and Sarah, turn on your cameras. Let's get going, mics. Let's see, Cindy, let's see. She doesn't have her mic on, but that's okay. We don't need to talk to Cindy.
Okay. This is a mess, but I'm working on it.
There you go. So you didn't listen to anything I said up top. That's a good looking fish though. Oh, that's a really good looking fish. You're modeling them out really nicely. Yeah, just watch how much light you have to give them. Just really concentrate, trying to keep it nice and subtle. He's really coming out of it. He's popping out of it. You're green. You're green underneath the fish is perfect. Really good job. And you did, even the top. you know, where I was trying to get it a little crazy, pull off paint and stuff like that. Hey, it's oils. You get a lot of chances, you know, and
Right, it needs a lot of work. I need to scrape more out, and it's just
yeah,
a
but
I'm working on me
that
that it's on
that
the
warm fish against those greens is gorgeous. Really, really quite nice. So, you know,
thank you.
just highlights, just tiny highlights now. You know, they're like $5
On the
bills
water
coming
or-
out of your hand. Yeah, and then the little teeny dots in the water will be really nice. Good job on the fish. Good drawing, really. I mean, that's what's really good about it. Is his drawing's really great. You know, that's a nice,
Thank you.
good arc to him and everything. Good job.
Thank you.
No worries.
So put more highlights up here, darken him. Is that what you're saying? Darken him up a
No,
little
no, no.
bit?
Just yeah. Your highlights when you put them in there, just don't let them be too bright. Just a
In
hair.
here, or in here?
Yeah,
In there?
the very, very top of him.
Okay.
Not even that much. I mean, I'm talking like, you know, 1/2 step more of brightness, but that's about it. You know, and then up there, I think it's really you got the right white up there for the top thing. Really, you just got to bring in some of the yellow oranges and stuff into the edges of those colors on the one side, and then the more green yellows on the other side in his back fin area. But otherwise,
I
it's really
have a little bit of
nice.
orange over there, but put more in. Is that what you put
You
more
could
in?
you could bring it down and just bring it down just a hair more to help outline the fish. Right now, that line's kind of going right into his back. So if you bring that
right in here.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you bring that down just a little bit more, and it will outline the fish better, and won't have that trouble. That's all you got to do. That's beautiful, though.
Great.
Really,
It was fun. Thank you.
good job on your
It's-
fish.
I
Nice
never
one.
painted.
That's fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't paint fish very often. Sarah, how you doing? Oh, she's giving us that look.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
A little closer.
Closer.
closer. Oh, you
Nice.
had fun.
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, it looks like you were trying to erase out the paint and stuff like that. It was a good try. It was a really nice try. Yeah, you got them. You got the shapes really good on those fish. The basic outline shapes and filling them in. That's really nice. Yeah, basically now it's just a little bit of mid-tone into them, the cool mid-tones, and they'll just sparkle. They're going to sparkle. I kind of, and the more I see the top part, the more you start to like it. You know, because it's one of those things. I think when you really have the fish start to shine, that other stuff is going to just start to blend in and meld a little bit better even. Good darks going in there. You got it really nice and dark and juicy back there. Now you just got to pull out just a few of the rocks and then get that bottom light. Do whatever you have to do. If you have to paint it in, don't be a paint it in. Don't worry about that. I painted it in and then I pulled it back out to white, and that seemed like it really caught it a little bit. So, experiment, have some fun. Okay. Your fish look great, so you always have that to fall back on. The fish are always going to look really nice. And then, so the more goofiness you can put into it, the more you can learn and figure maybe the next painting you can find a place to put that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's coming along. There's some nice subtleties in it too. I'd like to see that one up on the site. Let's see what that ends up looking like.
Okay.
Really nice though. Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay. Anne Marie and everybody, I think I talked to everybody. We had a very small crew today. Everybody was out. Mindy ran out on us very early. She's just said, she's down there in Florida, and she goes, she can paint fish anytime she wants, so she doesn't care. Anyway, next week we don't have class next week. Next week I'll be up in South Haven for a plein air workshop in the cold. Anne Marie's coming. Anne Marie's coming to that, and
Where you going? Where's next week?
South
Where you
Haven,
going?
South Haven, Michigan,
fun.
and we're just
Yeah.
having a 3-day plein air thing up
Oh,
there.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, you know, if the weather holds out, right now they're calling for rain on one of the days, but we have a big barn we'll be able to use that's heated and fixed up, and it's a renovated barn, so we'll be able to use that as a studio. If nothing else, we have places to go, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
What's this thing about London? I saw that today. You got you two doggies. That's so cool.
Yeah, I sold a painting out in Seattle. So gallery sold a painting of mine and to some London collector. So we'll see. You know, I haven't got the check from them yet.
You're getting to be so international. We won't be able to even talk to you.
Just my dogs, not me. That's the whole thing.
That's so cool. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I've sold a few gone over there, but this is kind of going from a gallery, so it's a little more special than them just contacting me, which it's still cool. It's nice.
I
But
think
thanks.
it's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. I'll
All
tell
right.
you, we knew you win when you could talk to us.
I like doing these, so you won't have that. Probably won't happen. Let's see. Yeah, so in a couple of weeks we'll be back at it, and probably just start off with a nice landscape. And we'll still have one or two, I think 2 or 3 classes left. So we'll be doing a landscape, another animal, because you guys like animals. Everybody in this group likes animals and landscapes. So animals and landscapes, maybe a cow and landscape, that
Yay.
kind of thing.
That'd be good.
Pigs, more pigs again.
Oink.
Oinks. We'll do sheep. Maybe do a herring. We'll see.
Oh, that would be fun.
A herring. Okay. All right. I have a lot of good info. So, all right. So in a few weeks we'll be back at this, and so
Well,
finish
have
these
fun
up.
next week.
Oh, we will. We will.
I'm looking
One way or
forward
another.
to it.
We'll
I'm
either be
looking forward
very
to it.
drunk or we'll be very, get a lot of painting in.
Or
What is
both.
it? Is it margaritas and painting? Is that what it is?
Yeah, margarita. Oh, there you go. That's a really good one. Margaritas and painting.
That sounds like fun.
That would be fun. Anyway, so in a few weeks we'll be back, and till then, you guys finish these up, get them up on the site, and let's see what happens.
Thanks so much, Jim.
Thanks,
All right,
Jim.
guys.
Have fun
See ya.
next week. No, not too many margaritas. Don't be falling in your paints.
All right then. Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.